Happy Memorial Day. Go Thunder. I'm ready for some more basketball games. I don't know about you, but on Memorial Day, we usually had some sports going on the television whenever we'd gather together to eat. So today we're going to start a series on collage. And collage is where you put little pieces of paper together. This one is done by our friend Pam Rettele. And so she has done one with angels. She's got a whole series inspired by angels. And so I thought today we might start with that and do an angel collage inspired by our lovable Miss Pammy. All right, so this is an angel done by our own Miss Pammy, who will be back to be teaching soon, we hope. And we're going to use it as an idea. Now, collages can be all different ways. Basically, collages mean that we're putting things together. So Pammy painted her background, and then she put some pieces of construction paper and different kinds of scrapbook paper together. We're going to do our collage similar to this, but we're going to make it with little bitty dabs of magazine paper. So you're going to start by just grabbing some magazines that you don't care if you cut up. You'll need some scissors. You'll need a pencil. You'll need either just some regular Elmer's glue or some Mod Podge, and something to do it on. It could be a board. It could be a piece of construction paper. We're going to use a board. And so we're going to just start adding some different things to it. So what I started off with your pencil, and you don't have to worry about whether you get it exact or not the first time, because you're going to put collage all over the top of it. So you're just going to play with kind of where you want it to be. So I'm going to have different kinds of wings like this. You can make the arms go out more. You can do it however you want. So I went to the internet and typed in vintage lady face, and there was all different ones, and I printed off this one. And so I'm going to use that one as the face, but I'm not going to put that down right away because I want to do my background first, but I just wanted to kind of have the idea of how, where I wanted it. So I know that my face is about this big, so I go down 2, and that's my waist. And then I'm going to have a big old skirt, and we're going to just take pieces out of our magazine and tear it up. And we're going to use that to create our background. So I'm going to have my background be pieces of blue. So I'm just going to tear up some blue. I found some blue sky. So I'm going to tear up some blue pieces and found all kinds of different like blues. Here's some blues that were in the water. They're kind of some different kinds of blue. So I'm going to have different pieces, some blue sky that I'm going to tear up to do. And one of the tricks is getting you plenty of pieces before you start, because once you start, you're going to have lots of glue on your fingers, and it's harder to be able to tear when you've got glue on your fingers. So we're going to just pick a lot of these pieces up, tear them up, and then we're going to start gluing. So we're going to glue the background. So the background's going to be kind of this blue color, and then we're going to do I'm going to do the skirt in kind of more of a red. So I took some of the Mod Podge and I mixed it with some water so it wasn't so thick, because for magazines you don't really need it to be that thick. And you're going to put a generous coat on where you want that magazine to be, and then you lay your magazine down and hold it with one finger, and then you do it on top and bottom. So I'm going to just randomly take these colors, put the magazine there and then on top, and I'm just going to keep going like this until I get my background done. So I'm going to take and just have the colors. Again, you're going to put the color down, the glue down, the magazine, and just randomly, I'm going to take all this copy off of it. So if it has some copy, see how that just sticks to your fingers. And you're going to let it overlap. And it can overlap your angel wings and things too, because you're going to put the angel wings over the top of it. So you're just going to put this stuff underneath it, and on top you can have some of your darker colors onto the side. So I've got some of this really cool sky with blue and pink in it. So find you some magazines, find you some glue, could be Elmer's glue, just kind of water it down a little bit, doesn't have to be Mod Podge, and start cover. So I'm going to cover all my background here, and then I'm going to come back and do the next group. Okay, so you can get the background done. Make sure that you have all your little pieces. So after it starts drying, you start to see where you've missed. Put back on the glue, rub it down. Make sure you kind of go along and you've got all the pieces that you feel like you need to have to cover before you start with your next section. So I'm going to check here a little bit to see if I've missed anything. Then take your finger and kind of rub it down to make sure that you get it flat. Oh, missed a whole section there. So, all right, so we're going to do this whole section behind the wing. And at this point, it doesn't matter if you go over and get into your wings or your dress area. It doesn't matter at all because you're just filling in places. So let's see. I need some more just regular blue. Here's a little bit. Here we go. So it's not just all that dark blue. Rub it down. Some dark blue back in there. I like to do little pieces. I think the little white edges kind of even help with some of the effect that you get. So I'm going to rub that part down. I need some over here. Oh, and we need a little bit behind the arms because there's a little bit of space behind the arms. And if you want to, you can make it like really dark at the bottom to kind of give it a little bit of a, so you can take some and have some lighter areas. I don't like that one there. Ooh, there's some lighter color. Just tear off little pieces. Down here at the bottom, I'm gonna make some darker colors to kind of make it seem like it's kind of a little bit more grounded. If it goes off the edge, it doesn't matter. You can always cut that later and have it. And I'm going to put some feet down here, but it's going to be too hard to kind of go around the feet. So I'm just going to put a big piece right here, and then we'll find some really cool colors for some feet here in a little bit. And we'll put some feet over the top of it. So you can have different layers. So I think I've got, take your finger and kind of wet it. Make sure that you rub everything down. Oh, there's a little tiny piece. All the blue, the background. And then you got to decide what color you want to do next. So I'm going to do the skirt next. I found some really pretty, so the clothes, I found some really pretty pinks and flowers. And so I think I'm going to use that for the skirt when I was going through. I'm going to take my finger and rub all this down flat. And it doesn't hurt if it even has a few wrinkles in it. It won't matter about either because this is a collage. All right, so then I found some really pretty pinks. So I thought I would cut these up, wash my hands, cut these up. I got some flowers, and I'm going to do the skirt. Okay, so I have to wait a little bit and let some of it dry to see if anything sticks out that we need to redo. But I found this sunflower and I thought I'd make feet. And I thought I'd show you a little bit about tearing. Most of you know how to tear. We've torn all our lives, but as far as if you want to tear a specific piece, you can kind of hold on to it with your thumb and put your fingernail down and tear around your fingernail to kind of, if you're wanting to kind of have a certain line. And I kind of want a certain line because I want some shoes. And so I'm going to just tear around my fingernail. I don't have much fingernail. And I'm gonna make 2 of those. Okay, so I'm gonna start with my, and so you can kind of hold on to the part you don't want to tear, and you just tear around the outside of it. So I'm going to put little gold slippers on my angel, but you could have any color you want to. All right, so I'm just going to put a little bit of, it's going to be her feet. And then I was looking through magazines and I couldn't find really what I wanted for the angel's wings, and I thought, I got paper towels here, so I think I'm going to just make the angel wings out of paper towels, because I think that'll make a nice texture for me for my wings. So I'm just going to tear up some paper towels and do the wings with that. One of the things about a collage is you can use pretty much whatever you can find, little pieces of paper. And when I do my mixed media, sometimes, I mean, my mixed media is 3 dimensions, so it has things like buttons and clothespins. And when you tear, one of the fun things is you say, all right, well, that kind of looks like a natural curve that I need on this side, and maybe this one I need a curve. And so you can kind of just tear a whole bunch of pieces and then figure out where on your picture it looks like it might fit best. All right, how are you guys coming? Did you come up with some magazine pictures? You got an idea of what kind of angel you want? Okay, so I'm going to keep on working on this, and I'll come back after I get my wings all glued down. All right, so now we're going to try to kind of get it finished. As far as you might find something that looks like a little flower or a ribbon. You know, it doesn't really matter, just something to kind of be in the middle here to kind of break up where the hands. And I found this little rose bouquet, so I thought I'd put that in there. And again, rub it down. Eventually that'll all dry. I'm going to put my face on that I got out of the internet. And I'm going to glue it down. And then I'm going to look and see if there's any other places that bug me. Oh, there's a little white place there. So I'm going to put a little bit of pink. Because once it dries, you can kind of see some places that maybe you missed. That maybe, like, you want to just add a little bit to, so you can add that. So, and then I got her feet kind of off, so I'm going to put a little peak there to kind of make her feet look like they're actually underneath the dress. So you just kind of do your little details until you get it kind of like you like it. Then the very last thing what I like to do with my collages, and that makes them more like a mixed media anyway, is I like to add a little paint just to be able to have some highlights. All right, so now we're gonna just put a little bit of highlights on it. So we're gonna take and mix some pink with some white. And mix a little bit of our medium in with it so it's see-through. And kind of give that dress just a little bit of highlights on the edges. And do a little highlight in here. Show our arms. And then I'm going to give a little bit of same thing in the wings, just a little bit, just so that they're not just completely white. So what I'm doing is I'm mixing a little tiny bit of pink with the white and adding some of the medium so that it's more of a see-through color rather than a, I guess they call that translucent. It's not really transparent, but you can kind of see through it a little bit. So we're mixing a little bit of pink, a little bit of white, and a little bit of medium. Okay, now we're going to do the same thing with a little bit of the violet. And just kind of put some of this on as a background to it to kind of tie it together. So we'll kind of tie some of this together with some of the background. Give it just a little bit of color in here, but using the medium so that it's kind of see-through. Making that a little darker right behind the sometimes I get impatient with my paintbrush and fingers are always there, so I end up using my fingers sometimes. And you can do that too, since we're washing our hands every 5 minutes. It won't matter. All right, so I'm gonna let that dry and then I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, I want you guys to say hi to Pammy. I'm gonna send this to her. She's down in Texas helping taking care of her mom. We love you a lot, Miss Pam, and we will be glad to see you when you get back. All right, for all the rest of you, don't forget to wash your hands, and I'll see you back here tomorrow.